Okay, example number one. They give us some information. A landowner says that his property is triangular with one side 500 meters long and the other side 350 meters long. And they tell us that the opposite side of 350 meters is 20 degrees. It says determine two possible lengths of the third side. So right away, they already tell us that we know that there are two possible answers, but we'll check that anyways because not every question is going to have you two, but that's a good hint here. So what we're going to do is we're going to start and draw one of the sides. So what we like to do is we're given this angle, so we usually put the angle right on the horizontal. So we're just going to start here. And here we go. And we like to say that, okay, the first side here is 500. So we got our 20-degree angle. And then we know that the second side is shorter. So it's going to be 350. And we also know that we're going to have a height here. So from the previous sections, we know that if there's going to be two, we should see that the 350 is going to be between the height and 500. So we're just going to label our triangle. So we're just going to call this side A. We're going to go over here and call this B. And we're going to call this top side A. And again, that's just so we can organize our thoughts and make sure we put our formulas down correctly. So we should end up with two possible answers. So again, we're just going to check this. We're going to go, okay, this is going to be the sine of our angle is the opposite over hypotenuse. So in this case, our angle that we're given here is the sine of 20 degrees. The opposite side, of course, is H. And the hypotenuse is 500. And of course, when we go figure that out, we're just going to multiply both sides here by 500. We're going to plug that into our calculator, and we're going to find that H right here is, we're going to get 500 times the sine of 20 is going to equal 171. So you can definitely see now that side A over here, the opposite of angle A, and side B over here, you can see that now A is indeed between H and B. Therefore, we get two triangles, and we know that that's going to give us two possible answers. So here's B. So we know that B is going to be here. This is going to be 1, or we can see that it's going to end up on the left-hand side over here, which we'll call B2. And we'll get to B2 in a minute. We'll just solve for B1 to start with. So we have to figure out angle for B1. So to do that, we're going to use our sine law. So this is going to be the sine of B, I'll just put B1, all over B, equals, and of course here we get sine A, because that's the other angle that we know, all over A, which of course is now just going to give us the sine of B1 all over B, which of course is 500, and this is going to give us sine of 20 degrees all over 350, and we're just going to multiply both sides by 500. That'll get rid of the 500 over here. Multiply here by 500. Now we get the sine of B is going to now give us sine of 20 divided by, that's just 350. 350 times 500. It's going to give us this decimal, 0.4886. And so then angle B is going to be the second function of sine of our answer, which will now give us 29 degrees. So that's angle B. So what we want to do, though, is that we want to figure out what is side C. This is this whole length right here. And so now to do this, we have to figure out now what is angle B. Or angle C. We know that this one's 29. So therefore by SMAT now we can see that angle C is going to equal, and of course this is going to be 180 by SMAT. This is going to be 180 degrees minus 29. That's the angle we just found, minus the given one, which is 20. And again, just using our calculator, we'll go 180 minus 29 minus 20. And this is going to equal 131 degrees. So we want sine C. So of course, this is now, we're just going to go, this is C over the sine of C equals A over the sine of A. We're going to sub this in. Sine C, we just figured out, was 131 degrees. And we were given that side A was 350 all over the sine of 20 degrees. Again, we're just going to multiply both sides by the sine of 131 degrees. That is going to isolate C on its own. And again, using our calculator, this is 350 divided by the sine of 20 times the sine of 131. And we end up with 772 to 1 decimal place 0.3 meters. Now, we know that we have two triangles, or that we had two possible answers. So this is actually the first answer that we've got. Okay, so this would be C1, B1. Here we go. So that's one of our possible answers. Now we got to go and try to figure out the other answer. So just kind of move this down. So this was this triangle here now. We're going to start with B. It's still going to be our 20. Okay, so this is still 20 degrees here, except that we had our B2 was on this side, and so this is going to give us now a new C2 as well. This is 500 still, except over here this is 350, but now you can see that it's going to be to the left of the height right here. Okay, so we're looking at this little triangle right here. And so what we need to do is, first of all, we have to figure out what angle B is. But that's easy because this is B1 up here. We know that the relationship is that this is the acute angle, the sine law when it's the ambiguous case, that B2 is just going to be 180 degrees minus the 29 degrees, which of course, again, just using our calculator, 180 minus 29, this is going to equal 151 degrees. And if that's 151, then again, same thing. We go over here and we can figure out what C2 is going to be. And C2 is, again, by SMAT, it's going to be 180 degrees, okay, minus the 151 we just found, minus angle A, which was 20 degrees, and we see that this is going to be 9 degrees. So this is angle C2. Remember, angle C1 was 131. So now we put this back in. We go C over sine C equals A over sine A. And this is, of course, little C2. So this is C2. And this is sine of C2, which is now 9 degrees. A, those are still fixed. They were given to us. This is 350 over the sine of 20. And of course, we're going to again multiply by the sine of 9. So we isolate C on its own. And we get C2 is going to equal, bring in our calculator once more. Now we've got 350 divided by the sine of 20 times the sine of 9. And we get 160.1 meters. So we have two possible answers for the third side.